Hello, 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 and welcome to R&R Family Gaming. Going to be playing a little bit of Ark Survival Evolved today. We've got R&R Roland.
Hi.
And R&R Mom.
Hello.
And we are doing our own non-dedicated server. We can explain a little bit about that kind of stuff later, but we're going to be building a zoo. Ark Survival Evolved is all about surviving, of course, but you're surviving with a whole bunch of dinosaurs and other prehistoric creatures, mostly pretty much all extinct creatures. Now, they're not 100% exactly like the real life creatures, but they're all based on real life extinct dinosaurs and other creatures like that. So you got to survive. You've got to harvest materials. You've got to tame and fend off dinosaurs and other creatures that are also interested in surviving. And it's just a pretty cool game. Now, before we get too far into it, I'm going to go ahead and let you all in on the secret. We are not doing all the default settings, because if you use the default settings, taming takes a very, very long time. You die a lot, and it's a pretty hard game. So we've got some settings tweaked a little bit to make it a little easier and just more fun to play and more fun to watch. If you get this game, there are several different ways to play. You've got what we're doing, which is called a non-dedicated server. That means it's only up when we are playing. Time stops when we log off. And you don't have to worry about other people unless you set it to be a public game, and then other people can spawn into your world. There's also what's called a player-dedicated server. That requires having an extra Xbox that is pretty much on all the time, and it's just running the world. And then other people can log in and out whenever they feel like it, but time keeps going even when they're logged out. And then you have official servers. Those are the servers that are run by Ark, and they tend to be pretty tough to play on because a lot of other people are playing on them, and sometimes people aren't very nice. Sometimes they'll just kill you right off the bat. So we're starting a brand new player non-dedicated server, and we're going to see how far we can get. Our goal is to collect all of the tameable creatures. It's going to take us quite a while. First things first, we're going to have to figure out where we want to build a home. So Mom is the viewpoint we're looking at now. That's Mana. And she's going to be looking around and try to find a good place.
We could just live right here, so we could go over there whenever we need to.
We could just live right there. The problem with putting a house on the beach, if you're in a dedicated or official server, everybody's going to see it. If you're playing against other people, it's kind of important to stay hidden because, like I said, other people aren't very
on the ground
nice. But if you're playing on your own server, it's not too big of a problem to have it on the beach. But you are going to end up with dinosaurs all over the place. They tend to congregate on the beach, and sometimes they might just attack you for no particular reason. So it might be a good idea to go look around and find maybe a more secluded place, maybe up on top of a hill, someplace you can see all around you.
You collect it and then give it to me.
Why?
So,
why can't you pick it up?
Anything that you want to have in Ark, you're pretty much going to have to make. The way that works is as you level up, you get a couple of different things. You get stat points. If you look over in the bottom right of the screen right now, you can see there's health, stamina, oxygen, food, water, your weight, which is actually how much weight you can carry, melee damage, you got movement speed, fortitude, and crafting speed. Now the bottom one there, torpor, that is not a stat you can add to. That kind of gets calculated based on some of your other stats, and that basically means how easy it is for you to fall asleep. There's a whole lot to this game, and we're going to kind of try to explain it as we go. But one of the first things you're going to want to do in Ark is go punch a tree. I know that might kind of sound silly, but that's the only way you can knock down a tree to start with, and that's going to get you some wood. You're going to want to pick up some rocks on the beach. On the Xbox, you're going to do that with the Y button. I'm not exactly sure what the controls are on the computer or on the PlayStation. I imagine it's probably the triangle button on the PlayStation, but I'm not really sure. And you're going to pick up some rocks, and you're going to go punch a tree to get some thatch and some wood until you can make some pickaxes. There we go. We've got a stone pickaxe. And I believe you start with the ability to make those right away. So like I was saying, as you level up, there we go. Mana just leveled up right there, and she is able to put a point into one of those stats. The way we have our server set up, since some things are easier and we don't have to worry too much about the surviving aspect of things, weight is going to be one of the things you want to level up right away, because you're going to fill up really quickly. And when you spend your stat points, then you go into what's called engrams. Engrams are kind of like, sort of like blueprints. Blueprints technically are a separate thing over here, but it's learning how to make things. So as you level up, you're going to learn how to make different things, more things, better things. Right now, focusing on the tools. So now we've got picks, spears, hatchets, and torches. Those are all pretty important for surviving. As we continue to level up, also got some clothes. You can learn how to make some different kinds of clothes. Right now you've just got cloth clothing. It's not terribly helpful as far as protecting you from very much. It does help you with your survival, as far as like heat and cold a little bit. It gives you a little tiny bit of armor, but it's kind of your starter.
You want spears?
Your starter clothing. So also you're gonna learn how to make things like building components, like what do you call them? Foundations, walls, roofs. Those start to get pretty complex as you get into some of the higher levels. You can make sloped roofs and flat roofs and railings and catwalks and ladders and ramps and all kinds of things on that side of things. You're also going to learn to make higher level weapons. So as you can see over there, we've got the slingshot. Eventually you get some guns. You get eventually metal, where you can make metal tools that are much more durable and they collect better resources for you. Also, you're going to eventually get into things like guns and explosives. If you're in a PvP world, like an official server or something, it gets pretty intense with some of that stuff. We're not too into that side of things. Like I said, our big goal in ARK is always to collect all the animals. We just want to be zookeepers. So we're going to focus more on things like building materials and stuff like that. You're going to get saddles so that you can ride on the dinosaurs and the different animals. And yeah, so right now, just kind of collecting some of those basic materials. As you saw, there was a giant pile of stuff on the ground there a little while ago. That was Banana just making a whole bunch of picks to get experience. Now, he's still making them, just lots and lots of picks. Now, obviously, he's not going to need to use that many of them, but every time you make something, you get a little experience. One of the settings that we have tweaked is experience. So we're going to be leveling up pretty quick here at the beginning, even with the experience cranked up pretty far. Once you get to the higher levels, like around maybe 40, 50, somewhere around there, things really slow down. So even though we're gaining a lot of levels now, that's going to kind of taper off after a little while. And right now, just kind of combing the beach, looking for materials, looking for dinosaurs. I'm surprised you haven't been attacked by anything yet, Mom. No compies, no nothing. Now, all right, so as we're going around picking up different resources, you're going to be able to harvest the vegetation. You can get fiber from that, which is important for making clothing It's a pretty common building material that you're going to use for a lot of things. And you can also get different berries. Now, most of the berries are pretty much the same. They're different colors. They don't tend to do a whole lot different, at least not yet. I don't know if that might be something in an update later, but there are two important kind of berries. I guess maybe three important kind of berries you really want to watch out for. One is stem berries. Those are not going to be super useful for us for the most part. In a PvP world, they're going to be very useful if someone hits you with a tranquilizer arrow or tranquilizer darts or something else that makes your torpor go up and tries to make you fall asleep. You can take those stem berries and that will help wake you up. But it's also going to drain your water really fast. So you're going to want to make sure if you do need to take stem berries, you've either got a water jug or a water skin on hand, or you're close to water somewhere that you can go get a drink. Another kind of important berry is the mejo berries, M-E-J-O. I'm not exactly sure how you're supposed to pronounce that. Maybe mijo berries, maybe mejo berries, whatever they are. They're those purple berries right there, and they are the favorite food of all of the herbivore dinosaurs. So if you're trying to tame something that is a plant eater, those are the berries you want. And the final important kind of berry is narco berries. They're kind of the opposite of stem berries. You're going to use those to keep dinosaurs asleep while you're taming them, if it's what's called a passive tame, I believe. Is that right? Passive is the ones where you keep them asleep. No, I got it backwards. That's an active tame. If you're going to keep them asleep, you need the narco berries. You're also going to be able to use those narco berries to turn them into tranquilizer arrows, tranquilizer darts. There are tranquilizer traps, different things to knock the dinosaurs out so that you can tame them. So you definitely want to make sure you keep the narco berries, the stem berries, and the mejo berries. And the rest of them you can just eat to keep your hunger up. But again, that's another thing we've tweaked. We're not too worried about the survival side of things. So probably just going to end up getting rid of a lot of berries until we have lots of dinosaurs we need to feed. So right now, just kind of crafting, getting some levels. You might want to start scouting out and see where you want to build your home. Yes, controller issues. We've got a couple of sticky buttons and some things that don't like to work the first time.
I'm so happy because I dropped in a lot of things.
That's because we have kids and they drop stuff all the time.
Where do we want to build a house?
The cookies? Right here.
I think you probably don't want to be right on the beach.
I don't want to do it on the beach.
You probably want to look for some place that you can close in pretty easily, where there's like a natural couple of walls to build off of.
Drop some stuff.
I'm trying to build these to get level up to get my weight.
I know this place.
Like I said, weight is pretty important. Now, this is not the first time we've played Ark, and so we're a little bit familiar with the maps and things. This is actually pretty close to where we started before. Now, if you look right now, you can see there's kind of like a purple haze going on over here. It's like a wall. There's a very definite boundary there. That is the one disadvantage to this non-dedicated player server, and that is that Roland is the host of this game. And that means everyone that's playing has to stay within a certain area of him. So if Mana tries to get past that wall, it's pretty much not going to let her.
It's going to just teleport her closer to me.
It's going to teleport her back there. And if Roland walks too much further away, it's going to do the same stuff. Now, they've just recently done a lot of glitch fixes and stuff like that, so maybe this isn't so much of a big deal. But sometimes if your host just takes off and gets too far away and it tries to teleport you closer to them, sometimes it'll just kind of put you in the middle of the air and you just fall to your doom. Sometimes it's going to bash you right into a dinosaur that won't be very appreciative of that, and it will try to eat you, and that's not good. Roland, you're going to want to turn to your left over there and go that way.
You mean right?
No, that's your left, buddy.
No, right? Left.
Nope, you got that backwards.
Oh, yeah.
We're still working on that. Roland, you might be a little bit overburdened, but I think mostly you're going slow because you are currently crafting something.
Yeah, you also such a crafting.
So you can move while you are crafting things. However, you go more slowly because you're trying to get something done and walk at the same time. It's kind of like chewing gum and walking at the same time. Sometimes that's a little difficult. But grabbing a couple of engrams over here as Mom levels up, and now she's starting to get into those building materials. So we've got, looks like we've got some beds up there. Those are important because that's going to set your spawn point.
We only need two since it's just me and Mommy.
Since it's just you and Mommy right now, you're only going to need two. I think the rest of, yeah, that's a more recent development. It's called a wooden staircase. They didn't have those the last time we were playing. That is going to be very useful, I promise. She's got narcotics up there. That's something you're going to make out of the narco berries. That's going to also help keep dinosaurs asleep while you're taming them, specifically meat eaters. I'm really surprised we haven't come across any dinosaurs yet. What is going on? Oh, I see something over there. What is that?
I'm coming.
The way
They're kind of glitching out. I don't know what is
I think
going
that's
on
because
over
I
here.
had to, probably that's because I have too much torches and too much energy.
Oh, the dinosaurs are glitching out. Oh, now they're running away.
These ones, they go
If you noticed over there, that is one thing that I think is kind of unique to art. Not
Killed
something
it.
I've seen in a lot of other
why'd you
things.
kill it?
And that is that everything poops. One of the things you can do in art is to basically make some farming stuff. And if you're familiar with farming in real life, poop helps farming. You're going to turn that into fertilizer or just put it right on your crops, and it's going to help you
Is this all
to
poop?
build. Oh my goodness. That is a very, very
Lot of poop.
poopy turtle. I don't know what is going on. We might have to mess with the settings a little more because that just does not seem right.
No, we need to show they poop a lot.
Well, I think that might be a little bit too much there, Roland. He's just not stopping. Do you think that's what was wrong with those other dinosaurs? They were just stuck there in the same spot pooping? Oh, he decided fighting was more important than pooping now.
You can only do one thing at a time.
One thing at a time.
Don't touch my turtle.
Arbonomus. Basically, it's a big giant turtle.
I don't have any berries.
He's very, very tough, so it's going to take a couple of hits to knock him down. And now, when you are fighting dinosaurs, it is important to decide if you're going to try to tame the dinosaurs or if you're going to try to just kill them. If you're going to try to kill them, you can hit them with anything you want until they die. If you're going to try to tame them, you need to make sure you're using non-lethal stuff. Notice Mana was hitting that with a club. You can use your club, you can use a fist, eventually you can use tranquilizer, arrows, and things like that. Those are the things that are going to knock them out without killing them. If you use your pick or spear or axe or some of the other things that you get later on, you're probably just going to kill them. So I think we're going to need to shut it down here and maybe take a look at our settings. Something is definitely not working right because all the dinosaurs are just sort of
They look like they're pooping.
they're head banging or something. I'm not sure. But they're all just kind of sitting there until you mess with them. And that's not quite right. So I think we're going to call this it on this particular video. We're going to play around with some settings and we'll be back to teach you a little bit more about Ark and see what kind of dinos we can collect. And we will catch you later. That's R&R Roland.
Bye.
And R&R Mom.
Bye.
And me, R&R Dad. Signing off for now. We're going to see if we can fix these little settings issues. And our lovely little turtle over there. He says bye too. We'll catch you later. Bye.